All right, wonderful day today, December 9th, uh, 2020. 2020 is almost over. That's
Thank
amazing.
God.
We just started. So today I want to go over a few things, and we're introducing some new things as well. So for a lot of the new people coming in, I just kind of want to recap a couple of things, but just kind of give you some general overview of some different areas of different platforms and the websites, and understanding the differences and what you can take from that. Starting with obvious the agent.trupower.com, which is the agent menu. From here you can pretty much access just about anything that you need on the platforms, and starting with the corporate website, which is at the top of the page, which is under TruPowur.org. And that is the corporate website where you can find obviously a lot of information. One of the things that I wanted to point out is under services. If you look under services, you'll see that you can see that obviously we deal with all of the energy markets, the suppliers, commercial, residential, contract negotiation, rate analysis, which has a lot to do with the utility audit, power factor correction, lighting retrofits. We still do a little bit of that stuff. But under the power factor corrections tab, if you click on this, this will bring up an area where you can learn a little bit more about power factor and how that is affected, uh, and how to fix it, and understanding it a little bit more. If you click on this TruPowur Green Energy Panels, that'll take you to a place on the site where you can actually read a little bit more about the panels that we manufacture for different applications, depending on whether it's a residential or commercial application for correcting power factor. You will find a video. I'm not going to do it right now because it's rather lengthy, but if you haven't watched this, it would be a good video for you to watch to understand a little bit more about power factor, how it works, what it all entails, and how we correct power factor, and how that can save your commercial customers a lot of money. So that is important to know. And obviously, we manufacture uh, the green energy panel, which is capacitor banks. It would be good for you to understand that a little bit. Going back to our services, there is something that I want to share with everybody, because it's in probably, I'm going to say in the next couple weeks, we have a new product that we will be offering our commercial customers as well as the residential, but most of our focus is in the commercial market, so we'll be leaning that way. And so what I want to do is play a little video for you that will help you understand exactly what it is I'm talking about. So let me cue this up here for us. Here we go.
Have you ever heard someone say, "Let's go inside to get some fresh air"? Probably not, and it's for good reason. On average, we spend 90% of our time indoors. But according to the EPA, indoor air is often 2 to 5 times more polluted than outdoor air. In fact, many of the buildings we occupy could be harmful to our health without us ever knowing. Hidden molds, off-gassing from chemicals or furniture, and even people are just a few of the sources that degrade indoor air quality. So it's no wonder we go outside for fresh air. Outdoors, naturally occurring ions are everywhere and are constantly working to clean the air. Ions are created with energy from rushing water, crashing waves, and even sunlight. Unfortunately, the concentration of these naturally occurring ions is much lower indoors, where particles are often suspended in the air. These particles can include dust, dander, pollen, smoke, and even pathogens such as mold, viruses, and bacteria. The risks associated with inhaling bacteria and viruses may seem obvious, but even common dust and dander can cause respiratory issues or worsen pre-existing conditions such as asthma and allergies. There's still hope for indoor air quality though, thanks to ionization. Our patented needlepoint bipolar ionization technology safely introduces ions into the airstream, using the airflow in your existing ventilation system as the delivery method. When these ions disperse throughout a space, such as an office or a schoolroom, they combine with particles suspended in the air. This creates a snowball effect in which particles of opposite polarity begin to cluster together. As these large clusters pass back through the HVAC return, they're easier to capture in the filtration system. Our cleaning process is also effective against pathogens. When contact is made with ions, it disrupts many pathogen surface proteins, rendering them inactive. Other common indoor air pollutants include VOCs, or volatile organic compounds. There are hundreds of types of VOCs that are created by common household items, such as cleaning chemicals. Ionization is effective at tackling VOCs as well as odors, such as those lingering around nearby trash. Through our patented technology, VOCs and odors are broken down into basic, harmless compounds, leaving the air smelling more fresh and clean. You can also feel confident knowing that, unlike many other products, our ionization cleaning process will not introduce ozone or other harmful byproducts into the air you breathe. Today, our technology is trusted to safely clean the air in hundreds of thousands of installations, including offices, schools, airports, hospitals, and other community spaces around the world. So now we can stay inside to get some fresh air.
So that'll be a product that we should have available here in the next couple of weeks. I think that's going to be really good for a lot of our, especially our commercial customers. So, and it is super affordable, especially for residential applications. It's very easy to install. It literally takes about 3 minutes. So it's going to be very useful in some of our marketing pieces that we're doing. We've got a marketing piece that's going out here real soon that's going to be going out to about 96 million emails. So if you're on the phone, then as those calls come in, those calls will all be rotated to those people that are on the phone. So that'll be good, and you'll get more information on that. But so I think that's going to be an added extra benefit that we can offer customers as well as with the plasma ionization. So fantastic. All right, going back to the agent menu. The top green button obviously takes you to the front of the platform. This is where we enter all residential deals. So although we can do residential and commercial through the front of the platform, you and I would only use it for residential purposes. We used to allow agents and brokers to put in residential deals through the back office, but too many people were mixing them up and putting commercial on residential and residential and commercial. And so this way you can't possibly mess it up. One thing to make mention is make sure that you have entered your sales code, so that when you see this bar here, you know that anything that you do through the front of the platform will end up in your pipeline, and when you go into your back office, you'll actually see anything that you've done through the front of the platform. But this is the public facing side of the website, and so you have residential, small business, and large business. There really is no such thing other than for you and I. If somebody selects small business and puts in their zip code, it's going to allow them to see rates. If they select large business because their bill is over $10,000 a month, it is naturally going to take them to a page where when they click get rates, it's going to ask them to fill out some information. When they fill that information out, it is going to forward that information to you so that you can contact them and put together pricing for them that is going to be applicable for their situation. Obviously, a customer of that size is probably more than likely going to be able to take advantage of the reverse auction tool in the back office. So there's really no difference between large and small, other than the fact that the way we want to divide it out for our purposes. But for you and I, we'll use the front of the platform to enter in any kind of residential deal, simply putting in the zip code and clicking Get Rates, and it is going to pull up this page. Now, if you know how much that customer is currently paying on their electricity, you can put that here. You don't need to change the usage on residential, doesn't matter. But once you hit requote, then it is going to let you know how much, what the rate is, the terms, and the amount of the savings. Just so you know, when you look at savings through the front of the platform, it is going to show you savings based on per month rather than contractual. In the back office, when we look at commercial deals, they're going to be for the term of the contract. So it's broken down that way. So the numbers are going to be significantly larger. But for a residential, this is still pretty good, $58 worth of savings. And so it's a real simple process where you click sign up. And in this case, I used a Chicago zip code, so it's asking for the account number. That account number is found right there at the top of the bill. Each state's a little bit different, so the top of this form may be a little bit different depending on what state you're marketing in. But it's a very simple process. Put in their name, address, and of course, if the physical address where the electric is being serviced and their billing is different, then you can change, or you can add the billing address if it's different. So if it was a PO box that the bill went to, you have a place where you can put that. Other than that, you're going to add the phone number. Most people today probably don't have landline, so if they don't, just put in the mobile number in both locations and their email address. You will hit next. It will go to a verification page where it will just verify the address, make sure it's correct. So if you spelled out street and it's recommending that it be abbreviated to ST, then just go ahead and accept. And then once you hit submit, it'll finish the deal. Now, because our platform is designed to track the IP address, when you're talking to a customer about residential, once you've clicked and submitted that deal, then our system is going to automatically email a verification link to the customer. So all they need to do is open their email, click on that verification link, and that will actually authorize the deal. So whereas a lot of companies use a third-party verification process where they have to actually call some third-party number and they ask them a bunch of questions, and people hate it, and if they don't answer all the correct questions, they kick it out, and they got to talk back to the salesman, and then they got to go back through third-party verification again. Or if they have any questions, it's horrible. People don't like it. Sometimes people just don't even want to talk to you just because of that process. So we've simplified that. Our system recognizes that your IP address does not belong to the address that you're entering here. And so it is going to automatically email a verification link to that customer. They click the verification link, and then in your back office, you'll also see that when you enter in a residential deal, it'll say residential, and it'll also say pending. And so when they click that link, it'll go from pending to signed. And so that completes the transaction as far as the customer is concerned. So it's a pretty simple process. The back office, which is the backside of TruPowur.com, which is the public-facing portion of the website. When you go into the, excuse me, when you go into the back office, any of those residential deals, commercial deals, you will see right down here in the bottom location. From here, you can actually add a new customer. This is for commercial customers. So you can add a new customer the same way that we were going to do it for the residential through the front of the platform. Simply add in their zip code and however much their usage is. Now, when we talk about usage, we always talk about usage annually. So if they used 200,000 kWh annually, then you would put that in there. And then if you look down here, you'll notice that there is no savings whatsoever. So the way to get that savings to show up is to actually put in here uh, oh, I'm on the wrong key. Hang on a second here. Here we go. All right. So 606, 200,000 kWh. And of course, your margins are by default will be set to 5 mils. You can certainly change that. But if you know how much that customer is currently paying, you want to put that right here. So we're going to put in 9 cents. And again, you can see that there is no savings down here. And once you hit and update the platform with the amount of the usage and the cost per kWh, then when you scroll down, you'll notice that you'll always have the best available plan starting January or the whatever the next month is. You're going to get the top three, which is typically going to be 12, 24, and 36. But below that, you're going to have all of the available products or services, the suppliers, and the rates. Now, a lot of times, if you look under filter terms, you'll notice that they're not always all checked. You can certainly select all, and that'll show everything that is available. Now, obviously, for most situations, we're not going to want to put that customer into a 3-month term. We want as long a term as possible. So you may want to change this to savings to sort that so that it puts the longest at the top. So you can see that if this particular customer in mine, who is in Chicago, uses 200,000 kWh annually, and is currently at 9 cents, by lowering their rate down to 6.3 for a 36-month term contract, we could save them $16,000. Now that's $16,000 over the life of 36 months, but nonetheless. And the estimated commission is $3,000. So if we come down here, we can see that here is one that's a little bit longer term. You can see that this is 60 months at 7.7. Obviously, the commission's greater. The savings is a little bit smaller, but we sorted it based on savings rather than longest term to shortest term. So you can sort these in any way that you feel necessary to get your point across to the customer. Now, once you've done that, if you're talking to the customer live and you're coming in through the instant quote, then you can certainly say, you know, let's get this started. So you can put their information in here and submit most of it, except that you don't have a copy of their electric bill. But if you are opening with the utility audit, then more than likely you're going to have a copy of their electric bill before you start. So it's real simple to just click to go into the back office, and instead of looking at the instant quote, you're going to want to click on Add New Customer. And from here, you're just going to want to start by putting in some basic information, and however much their estimated usage is. You don't know exactly, because a lot of times some of those bills that you may have may only show a graph of what they used over the past 12 months and or whatever their usage is for that current month. You, depending on the time of the year, you can take that that amount of whatever their estimated or whatever their usage is for this month times 12 to get an estimated amount. But just be mindful that if you're in the dead of winter, that usage, using that method, the usage is probably going to be lower than what it really is. Or if you're doing it in August, looking at an August electric bill, that usage might be higher than what it would be normally. But so adding in the estimated annual usage. Oh, hang on here. Come on. There we go. And click submit. And then you will be able to enter all of the customer's information. You're basically just going to take and transpose all of that information from the electric bill and input it into the form. Once you do that, you'll hit submit, which is down here at the bottom of the form. It will go to a verification page where you can just verify that all the information, it'll compare what the system is looking at based on what the utility is saying that address and information is compared to what you put in. So it's going to verify that information. If it's giving you a suggestion, unless it's way off, then I would just accept the suggested address changes. So once you put that in there, then the customer's information is now going to be in the system, and you will be able to create a proposal. And let's see if we can just kind of mock one up here, because I'm not logged into, let's see, 500,000 kWh. And let's say this customer used at 9 cents. Yeah, we moved it off of there. So once you have all of the customer's information in there, and you can go back and look at some of the older videos that we've done over the past couple of weeks where you can look at how to do a proposal. If you're new and once you get that first utility bill, let me know. I'll walk you through the process. It's really, really simple. We did one here a couple weeks ago, I think, for John, didn't we?
Yes.
So that is the back office platform. Oh, there's a couple other things that I wanted to point out. So when you are looking for different leads or different areas that you are interested in marketing, you can obviously look at the analytics from the back office to kind of look at where the market is going. But we take a lot of that information and put it down here in the ticker at the bottom of the agent menu, so you'll know what states are probably going to be the most favorable to market in at that time. But you can also take a look at this map. So if you go to menu under market overview, it will pull up this map, which will let you know what states we have what type of markets, whether it is just natural gas or just electric or electric and natural gas. And so we have both the commercial markets, the commercial matrix markets, and the residential markets maps there. So you can always check on that. Question? Okay. So some of the other things that you'll want to note over here under your market updates, if you take and click on this, every day we are posting where the markets are most favorable. And so you can always take and look at under your dashboard. If you go right over here to where it says market updates, click on that. It'll show you all the past days, but just click on the top one there. And that'll show you what markets have had the most favorable rate changes, where you can do the most good for customers, obviously, both for electric, natural gas, residential. And so those are updated every day based on whatever's going on in the marketplace. So you don't have to spend a lot of time doing a lot of analytics. But if that's something that you are interested in, you can certainly go over to the market data analytics, and you can do analytics for both natural gas and electricity. Simply select the state that you are interested in learning a little more about, the utility for that particular area, and then get statistics. This is going to, by default, give you historical data for the past 2 years, as well as the forward moving months. It is going to give you a forecast of what the market is going to look like for the next year. So if you're talking to a customer and you see that, we're right here in December, and you can see based on this, I don't know how big or little that looks on your screen, but moving forward, it doesn't look like there's any time within the next year that the market is going to be as favorable as it is right now. So when a customer says, well, I still got a year left on my contract, why are you bugging me now? Well, if later was more valuable, then obviously that's when I would be calling you. I'm calling you now because between now and the time when your contract expires, there is not going to be any time where the rates are going to be more favorable. Now, one thing that I do want to point out here is that this percentage of days within the graph which have a higher price than today. So in other words, 64% of the forward-looking market is telling you that that the higher this number, the better. So let's take a look at Texas, because I think Texas should look pretty good. Here we go. No. So again, still, you can see that right now, the market is pretty flat. We are still going to be a little bit lower until we get out to about November of 21. So we're at 216 versus 212. So if their contract expires anytime before November of 21, right now is still going to be favorable. And it's still so close, I probably would obviously want to do it now as opposed to later, because you never know what happens later, right? So I would take advantage of that. But you can certainly play with the analytics tools. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it, but you can do both the electric and natural gas the same way. You can look at peak hours only, off-peak hours. For you and I, 99% of everything that we do is going to be fixed all in market rates, which is going to be either matrix pricing or custom pricing from the supplier for all-in rates. So that should be most of your business. It'll be very, very rare that you ever have a customer that requires index pricing. So, all right. So let's jump over to the agent menu again, and then the top black button is where you would submit your utility audits. In fact, I probably ought to have these buttons switched around so that they're actually in line as to how you would use them, because you would want to upload the utility audit bill first because it takes a little bit of the longest, and that's usually what we're opening with. But it's real simple. Putting your information in here, customers' information, the company information, and then of course a little bit about their audit. What bills are you submitting? If it's just the electric, then check that box and upload your documents. If you have other cost centers that are going to be included in that, waste removal, telecom, workers' comp policy premiums, or merchant processing fees, you can attach all of those individually, up to 1 meg per file, which is pretty large, or 20 megs altogether, and then submit that. We are almost finished with the back office for the utility audit, where you'll be able to see a Gantt of the process of where those customers are in that process. We've been a little bit backed up, but that's a good thing. And so we're trying to get that streamlined a little bit more. So obviously the below the submit for audit is your resources tab. And so one thing I want to point out in your email, all right, so in your Dropbox, under audit, you have a folder. Inside that folder is a bunch of resource PDFs on different cost centers. I usually like to attach this one right here, which is the utility bill, when I'm doing the creating my template in my email. If you look at, I don't know if it was last week or the week before that we covered that, but very simply, if you look at the script, which is right here at the top, and the sample email template, which is down here, it references this link right here. That link right there is not this page. This one that you see with the resources is not references. So resources is not linkable from the website, only from your agent menu, but you do have some other resources that are included that you can access information on. That link that's in your email actually goes to this button right here, which is similar, except that it doesn't have all of the sales information. So it's got your letters of reference, brochures, case study, audit checklist, things like that. So you want to become familiar with that. So TruPowur.org is all the corporate website. TruPowur.com is all the pricing platform information. And then TruPowur.net, it deals with all of the utility audit information. So you can access that right here. Obviously, we are on the Zoom call, so you know that. And then, of course, you have some extra keys down here, some buttons that you can use to kind of help you along. This one right down here, which is gifts and promotions, feel free to use that to maybe not use the word coerce, but coerce or reward. That's a good, to reward your customers for following through with what it is that they say they're going to do. Once you submit a utility audit, um, support will automatically upload into your Dropbox. Let me see if I can go over here. They will automatically upload that into your Dropbox for your customer and then send you an email letting you know that. But you do have quite a bit. So they will receive a uh, certificate for airfare for 2 plus 2 nights hotel accommodations. And this is really, really kind of nice to be able to give that to the customers. If you want to learn more about it, you can watch the video. But up here in the top left where it says select a theme, there's a lot of promotional items that we've added into the system that you can use as thank yous to send to your customers. So, you know, if you're wanting to give your customer $100 off of a case of wine, then you can certainly use that. And all you need to do is put in their email address and hit go, and the system will automatically send that to them. So you have that available to you right here under gifts and promotions. So be sure to take advantage of that. Reward your customers for following through. Obviously, we want to provide them valuable services. We're not trying to cheapen what it is we do, but it's a nice thing, especially this time of year, to reward your customers with something nice. So anyways, so any questions about the agent menu or how to access things?
Um,
No?
you, Max, am I missing something here? I know, like you said, there aren't we able to send flyers? I saw some of the videos on the audit. Hey, the video about audits and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something we can send out with our URL to customers to be able to generate business there? Or I mean,
Sure.
is there
Right
a
here,
marketing platform I'm missing?
right here under brochures,
Uh-huh.
you're going to see a whole bunch of PDFs that cater to those items that are going to be useful. I usually attach this with the email that I'm sending out requesting a copy of uh, their utility bill. Um, come on.
Yeah, I saw on YouTube there was a video, about the audit and so forth. And
Yeah. Well, this just kind of goes a little more, other than just energy audits, waste audits, water, sewer, all of those things. So, but you have a whole bunch of them here, and they're also available on the resource page under brochures.
okay.
So
Now you're saying typically since I'm just starting, when I get my leads, you're typically starting out talking to them about the audit.
correct.
Is that correct? Okay,
Yes.
so we pitch them, use an audit pitch, and
Yes.
then
So go into your Dropbox, and you're going to want to go right here where it says step-by-step instructions, and that'll get you started.
oh, okay. Step-by-step instructions. Okay.
Right there, it'll be the first thing you see when you open up your Dropbox.
Okay, perfect.
What is your extension?
758, I believe. I don't have my paper. Hold on. Yeah, 758. Or that's 758.
So right here, you'll see it. Step-by-step
Okay.
instructions. Have you completed all of your onboarding?
Yes, sir. And I already did my final. Yep.
There you go. So you can see this is actually what your customer would see. I'm going to close that page. This is what the customer would see coming from you, except their name is going to be down here. and your name and information will be right here.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay, awesome.
So that's just kind of a nice thing, right?
Yep.
That's where you're going to want to start right there.
Okay, so the leads that you sent me, when I call those, I'm going to use
They're right there.
the audit. I'll use the audit to start with, right?
Correct.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. So if you go in here, you'll see the script, which is pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy, nothing complicated. I think maybe next week, just because I'm on a time crunch today, but maybe next week what we'll do is get everybody together and have a little bit of an informal training where we can do a script reading and role play so that people can get a little bit better feel, and then so you can throw out some it'll give you a chance so that if you get those rebuttals that you weren't able to overcome, throw them at me.
Gotcha. So once we're
Make a
able to get an
list.
audit, once we're able to get an audit sent out for these people, well, and they send us I'm assuming they'll send us their electric bill. Try to get the audit started. That at that point, that's when you call them back and try to go into setting them up for, getting their contract changed for their electric
Well, what you're going to
or
do
gas.
is you're going to use this template to send them an email. They're going to email you a copy of the utility bill, right?
Right.
And so you're going to go right here and upload a copy of that bill. And then when you're all done with that, give me a call and I'll walk you through it. But you're going to go into your back office of the
Get
pricing
their
platform.
information.
You're not going to be on the phone with the customer, so you don't have to worry about trying to do this live.
Gotcha.
And then we're going to add a new customer. We're going to plug in their information, and then the system is going to spit out some information that we can now email the customer and then follow up with a phone call. So this will all be within
Nice.
minutes of receiving a copy of their utility bill. So when we do call them back, it's going to be very simple. Just a thank you. Wanted to let you know I received your utility bill safe and sound. The auditors are already underway. In fact, in the initial investigation, we also uncovered some additional savings in your electric account. I emailed you some information. When you have a chance, take a look at that. Give me a call and I'll go over the details. That report is designed to stimulate their senses, and usually what the comment is, well, how do I get this, right? How do I make this happen?
Absolutely. And
So,
on a commercial, we can do even if their contract's up to 2 years, right? Before it's 2 years or less.
yes. So
Perfect. Okay.
I try not to put too much emphasis on it. I mean, most people that are going to, um, I try not to make that the issue, rather
Gotcha.
than rather than okay, we save you 20 grand or 200 grand or whatever the number is. They want to know, well, how do I make this happen? Well, the how is not so important as much as when do you want it to start? Well, I'd like it to start right now.
Okay.
Okay, well,
My
and we'll walk through that.
Okay, my last question. I don't want to take up a lot of time for everyone on here or yours. I'm from Texas. I'm Texas. I'm in Florida. I got a lot of connections in Texas. If I wanted to send them an audit, can I send them that one URL or just call them? And, in there, I thought there was like a little sales piece for that audit or with the marketing that I could send to.
Your email signature is already keyed up to the front of the platform. In fact, it'll automatically put in your sales code for you. But if if have them send you a copy of their utility bill,
Right.
get the auditors on it, and then go into your back office. We'll walk you through, plug that in, and you know, see what, if any, that we can do for them. Right now would be a really good time to do that. But if you look at your email signature, even though it says TruPowur.com, it actually is linked so that it has your extension in there. So when somebody clicks on it, it'll automatically take them to the client side or the public facing side of the website, but it'll automatically plug in your sales code for them.
Okay, thank you.
So you don't have to think about it.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, sir.
All right. Well, let's all have a wonderful day today.